Oh, welcome to the Weeb Lounge, guys. Some good news finally. We have power. Finally, NIPSCO has come out, we're lit up, and the move is starting. All right, well, first things first. The tent and everything, it's all the ductwork, everything's all hooked up, right? And we also got the PDUs in place, kind of put those there ahead of time before we actually move anything in here. Panel is all taken care of. The first one anyways. Oh man, it's been a trip. I was on the verge of committing war crimes here earlier because electrical guy came out and he was like, well, there's two issues. Basically what it boiled down to getting like some kind of clamp so that the wire coming from the power company going to the garage here clamped down and held. There wasn't one there, but the power company is supposed to supply that. They are the ones that install that, but we had to dig one up and get it on. Okay, done. We're good. We are lit. But there is a potential issue with this. According to the guy that installed it and a couple other people that I know, the transformer outside is probably going to explode. Depending on, because right now when I move everything out here, the load or whatever on the transformer should be basically the same. But once I start expanding, you know, a couple of people have been like, you know what, that transformer ain't going to be able to handle this. It's going to blow. So at some point, a future video, I will probably doing one and it'll be like, hey, this transformer exploded. Okay. So I'm kind of going to just anticipate that happening at some point. And if and when that does happen, well, when, not if, they're going to have to come out, install a new one, and make sure they upgrade it. So the infrastructure around this part of town, unfortunately, is just garbo. So, but you can see all this, all the ductwork and everything. And let's just go over here and turn this on. I'm going to turn it on max, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear me after I do, because it can get pretty freaking loud. Oh, the door's creaking. It's that one thing where if I do this, it pops right open. But in here is where it is. Oh, that's so loud. But it's a torrent. It's an absolute torrent. Ooh, it pulled my hand in. It like, definitely don't want that because the blades are up there. Oh my God. So much air, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's pulling my hand in. It is like sticking your hand out of a car window. It's just, whoo. Oh boy, okay, let's turn this off. We're not going to need it on that loud. We're not going to need it on that high, theoretically. I tested it out not long ago, and that's at max. Like level 6 or something is max. Level 2 seems to be pretty good, so I'm going to start off at that and hope things work. But you can see we got all the PDUs lit up. And I found a really good deal on those PDUs. I got them for cheap, but a lot of stuff is now selling for cheap. Anything mining, I mean, there's a lot of liquidation going on. So good time to buy for the long term, and that's what I hope I can do at some point. But let's do this. I'll do a couple little updates as we go and everything, as we are moving rigs out here, getting things settled, because this is going to be an all-day process. So I'm going to have to show it step by step. All right, so far so good. Got 2 rigs in. The Vega 64 rig, which I'm going to be adding to, and the 5700 XT rig, going to be adding to that as well. It's going to be a really tight fit, tighter than I thought, but we'll get it done. Okay, out of breath. Water rig is in. It's only like 120 pounds, 150 pounds. What was it, Mark? I can't remember. Is it over there? Okay. He didn't want to be in it, so we made him in it. More to come. Oh my God, more progress is made, but this might seem somewhat full, but we got plenty of more to go. Now what I did, these guys right here, these are all 3090s, and the ones hanging on the very side here and here, those are the 3090 Ti's. I took them out of their standalone rig, put them on the sides, hooked them up, and we ran into an issue because the power cords going to that one, where one of them didn't work. It just wouldn't power on. It was causing some trouble and a whole bunch of crap. And I was like, oh, this is exactly what I need. But instead of trial and error, I took all the power cords off, threw them in the garbage, put all new ones on. It works. And I'm leaving it that way. Oh man, okay, this guy's right here. He's probably going to be there just temporary. And you can see up here, we just barely have enough space to put one more rig, which is going to be at the very, very top. And then we're going to fill in that and that. As far as temperatures go, it's pretty much what you expect. It's decent. Nothing super surprising, but it's condensed. I got a good airflow, and oh man, my house is already cooling off, let's put it that way. This is all I'm doing for today, but I'll keep the video going and we'll pick it up for the next day. Well guys, this has been some trial and error. Sorry if it's really loud, but not much of a choice. The tent, which is designed to basically guide hot air and get it out, has seemed to be trapping it and causing everything to take a crap as it is. So we went out, we got a couple of fans, we opened up the sides. Mark saw that I was recording and bailed real quick. And it's all about just trying to manage the temperatures, and right now it's doing okay, but I still got some thermal throttling. Granted, it's hot outside, it is what it is. We're gonna have to deal with some of that anyways, but the crazy thing is I might just be getting rid of the tent, doing open air, and setting the rigs right there, right below the exhaust, and just trying to manage it that way, because it really seems like we're trapping more air than we need, and it shouldn't be working like that. It'll really suck if we can't use this the way it's supposed to, and especially going out and buying these big old fans. It's trial and error, trying to get what we can. I mean, granted, it's middle of summer now, things are really hot, things are just ew. I mean, it's hot and sticky or whatever, but you know, at one point that tent was 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Way too much. Right now it's about 91, 92, which is a lot more tolerable, but I still got to try more things. And everything is out here with the exception of one rig, the hanging rig, which I'm going to end up putting there. But right now I'm just trying to stabilize and get the proper airflow, and then we'll get to that. Another update shortly. Oh, well guys, this took a lot longer than I thought. We finally got all of the cards sitting out here, every single one. Now, plans, of course, did not go as intended or even really kind of close. The original goal was to get every single video card, everything inside that grow tent. But unfortunately, even though, you know, the measurements, one big rack and 4 of these little racks, right? I measured everything out, and it's like, okay, we can fit it in there, be all good, contain the heat, get everything passing through properly. But unfortunately, it just didn't quite work out that way. When it started to come to practical use, it didn't work. And just having one rack of things in and one down there, and having this tent fully enclosed, it just, everything was overheating. Everything was overheating, and really couldn't understand why. I mean, it was really dumbfounding. It really was, because as far as exhaust, we have 4,000 CFM of exhaust for this little tent, and plenty of air intakes for it to, you know, completely change the air and keep it at ambient. Even if I pop the garage open a little bit there, and these guys I went out and got later. So for whatever reason, it just didn't work. And I'm not exactly sure why, but here's the theory, right? For whatever reason, heat was just getting trapped in this guy. Let's take a look inside. Now, I've got an exhaust there, an exhaust there, like 2 of them are right there, and same thing over on this side. Exhaust there, exhaust there. 10-inch pipes, and basically each tube is 1,000 CFM. That's just kind of how I did it. And the times, at full blast, I can change the air completely inside that tent 16 times a minute. anyone would tell you that that should be enough. But for whatever reason, it's not. And so I started opening it up a little bit, and I went and got these fans, which are actually proven to be rather useful. These guys are either 1800 or 3600 CFM, high and low, and that's an awful lot of air right there to move. And they're pretty good, pretty cheap considering, so I like those. But the weird thing is like the second I decided to unzip the sides, that side, and just opening it up, things started cooling off immediately. And I was like, okay. So it needs to get air in from the sides or something weird. Something ain't right, okay? And these rigs sitting outside of the tent, no problem whatsoever. Not overheating, not having any kind of crashes, nothing. It was only what was in the tent, which is supposed to be the controlled environment. Oh, I need a little bit of my vape here, hold on. You know, the great thing about vaping is that when I need to figure out where the air is going, I just blow into it and I can kind of see where the fog goes and follow it. So, you know, at first I was thinking, okay, well, maybe it's like, you know, I've got hot spots and everything. But the thing is, the whole thing was hot. So the hot spot was this. So that didn't quite work out. And from what I'm seeing online, I pretty much have an idea of what I have to do. And that is eliminate the grow tent completely. As much as I didn't want to do that, as much as I wanted it to work, anything, you know, the two rigs that I put outside work, the more I open it up, it works. And there's this little law, I guess you could call it, where if I remove this, it'll actually take more air out, okay? For example, you see this right here is the air handler, all right? And you have this little gap right here for the exhaust, okay? If I take this out, what I think might be happening is that some of the hot air, of course, is just getting up top here, right? And the hot air is just kind of floating around and building up and building up. It can't get in through the tent into there. And what that ends up happening is essentially it starts to recycle the hot air back in through. And that's the only thing I can really think of. And when I was blowing my vape around or whatever, that kind of verified it. I saw like a little bit of a loop there. But here's another little trick. I think eventually getting rid of the tent, getting rid of this, and right here is where the exhaust is. So pulling air from the very top of the ceiling, not going to be a problem. That hot air is going to go out. But the cool thing is there's, it's like some kind of aerodynamic law, physics thing or whatever, I don't know what it is, but this tube right here that connects right here from the air handler to the actual exhaust port, get rid of it. And just blow it towards that, okay? That sounds kind of weird, but in all actuality, it works. What happens is you force all this air towards the exhaust. That air actually ends up going out, and it creates this turbulence effect that pulls air in from the surrounding area in along with it. So in actuality, you know, if that's 1,000 CFM, I might be able to pull like 1,100 or 1,200 CFM of actual air through, or even more. It works. I've seen it work. And before I hooked this up, I actually tested it to see, you know, if it actually is going to throw a ton of air out, and it still does a lot of air. So that might be the end-all solution. So might end up kind of sort of turning like a 4,000 CFM exhaust system into like a 5,000 or something weird like that, if I do it properly. And these guys down here, the only other issue I might have is getting more air in. So, you know, pop it open in the garage, plenty of air gets in, plenty of air. But it's about directing it properly, so I might need to get like one more fan or two more fans put over there, direct that air this way, and get it put that way. I don't know. It's going to be a task of trial and error, but at least for now, when it's halfway decent outside, you know, not scorching hot, or, you know, at night when it cools off, these run perfectly fine. So it's not a problem. So with that said, let me put this down so I don't go losing it anywhere. Oh boy. Let's walk over here and let's flip a breaker. Oh, here we go, guys. 200 amp breaker, one of two that we're going to work. And things are going to start lighting up here. You hear that? Oh, everything's kicking on. I think there's, oh, this rig I got to turn on manually. I always did. I got to change the BIOS in this guy. All the other ones should be on and running. And you can tell I got a lot of air going through here. Well guys, like, share, subscribe. More or less I'm done. If there's anything I have to do, like I said, we'll actually probably end up getting rid of the tent, opening that up to try to get a little bit more CFM, and that's pretty much what we got to do. Everything is out here, everything is running. If this was winter time, I wouldn't even bother because things are running, would be running perfectly fine. But I have to remember there's something very, very important. This is about a third, 1/3 of what I plan to have in here. This is only a third of it. So that means I've got to really, really plan, because this whole circuit box back here, this whole breaker box, there's not even a breaker in it. There's nothing in it. That is meant for this corner over here, whatever I want to do in this area. And plus, I've got plenty of amperage to go. I can add like another rig or two, or I don't know, I could probably add like 10 to 20 more cards if I wanted. That's what's a little on the crazy side. And I just saw a Zotac card here stop. Zotac, everybody, oh, there's 2 of them that stopped. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to check up on that, make sure things are running good. Zotac is always a problem. Anybody will tell you that. So guys, hopefully with this being relatively done, just a few modifications here and there, I'll be streaming again the games. Oh, I just need a little bit of a weekend to relax, and you know, maybe next Monday, maybe I might be on there playing some Fortnite. Surprisingly, I tried the no build thing, and I kind of liked it, so maybe we'll be giving that a try. All right, guys, thanks for sticking around the video. I know this one was kind of long, but this was the goal, and more or less goal reached. There's a sub goal. We're good to the sub goal. And while I say it's sub goal, I'd appreciate it. I really would. I've sweat a lot in here. We'll catch you in the next video.